let us take a look at the Colorado Rockies and let's see how well they're going to do for the 2020 season. So let's start off with last year. How did they do last year? Well, they finished 71 and 91. They were fourth in the NL West. San Francisco was above them. The Padres were behind them, but only by about a game. So that's and they missed the playoffs last year, obviously. And in the off season, there were rumors that Arenado was going to get traded. He made some remarks about the ownership of the team, how he was being treated, and then he walked back those comments saying it wasn't like him. Okay, so there's ill will between Arenado and the ownership. So we'll see how well that transpires throughout the season if he's on the team March, one of our opening days. But goal for Rockies this year, I think, is not to finish last in the NL West. Because the Padres are getting better, the Diamondbacks got better, Dodgers got better. The only team that didn't get better were the Rockies and the Giants, really. And I could see the cellar of the NL West being fought between San Francisco and Colorado. I don't see them as playoff teams. And speaking of that, the only key addition they really got in the offseason was bringing back Ubaldo Jimenez. He was the old starting pitcher around, I think, 2010, 2011. Those were his really good years in Colorado. And then I think they traded him to Baltimore, or he signed as free agent in Baltimore. And he hasn't been anything like it. So maybe with them getting Ubaldo, helps strengthen that starting rotation. They signed him to a minor league contract. So if he gets the starting, if he's on the roster, then let's see if they'd put him at probably like the number 5 spot, maybe, because Jimenez isn't that good. He had a couple good years, and that's it so far, unless he has like a comeback type season this year. But that was the only really key offseason move they acquired for losses. They really didn't lose anybody big. They didn't lose anybody big. But they lost Yonder Alonso, who was splitting time at first base with Murphy. And he bat below the Mendoza line, which is sub 200. So he elected free agency. And they also, as of right now, they also lost Drew Butera, their backup catcher, to Tony Wolters. So, like I said, not really losing much, but not getting anybody back in free agency. They're just dormant. They haven't done anything. I think stuff to look for, like I said earlier, is Arenado going to stay with the Rockies throughout the season? I think now would probably be the best time to trade him, because this is the highest return you'll probably get out of him. If you're going to trade him, this would be I think this season is the best time. I just think the return would be the best now, because if you wait longer, he's a year older, and people are going to want to pay less for him, I think. I think another thing to look for is the pitching going to get better this season. The pitching was horrid last year. Marquez and Gray both had down years. I mean, Marquez was 12-5. The win-loss looks nice. Had an ERA of 4.78, 4.76, and only 174 innings pitched. So didn't pitch a lot. And I mean, he had a really good year 2 years ago. That was his breakout year, and he just slumped back down. I mean, John Gray went 11-8. I mean, the win-loss records look nice, but a 3.84 ERA, which I think was the lowest out of all their 5 starters in 26 games. So that's not bad. 150 innings pitched. So these pitchers don't last long. I mean, Kyle Freeland, he went 3-11 in 22 games, had a 6.73 ERA. Antonio Senzatella, he went 11-11 with a 6.71 ERA. So if you just look in 25 games, so if you're just looking at the ERA, it doesn't help the pitchers. I know a lot of it has to deal with the balls flying out in cores, which that's always been a problem. Um, but pitching absolutely needs to get better if they want to uh, be better this year, because you can't just rely on the hitting. You can't. You need somebody to come in and be able to close the door. I mean, they still got Jake McGee as a nice lefty reliever. They still got Wade Davis and Scott Oberg as maybe one of their closers. So they got, out of those three guys, they got a decent bullpen. I mean, the rest of like Brian Shaw, Carlos Tevez, it's kind of iffy on most days, I would say. So you got to be careful with it. And most of those guys had down years as well. So you got to look for the pitching to get better this year if they want to. If they want to not be in last place, because I don't think they're making the wild card. I don't think they're winning the division. I think they're not making the playoffs at all this year. I think the only last thing to look for is Story going to have a 30-30 season. So he had 30, I think 32 homers, 25 RBIs last year, or not 25 RBIs, 25 stolen bases. So I could see Trevor Story getting a 30-30 season, which, I mean, good for him. That'd be one of the bright spots on that team. One of the very few. And I mean, you always got Charlie Blackmon that you got to look out for, because he always bats above like 290, 300. So he's always the rock steady part in that lineup. Arenado will bat 282, probably 280, 290, and help you out there. It's just, this team's starting to regress, and it's showing. But I think players to look for, I think David Dahl's going to have a good year this year, their center fielder. I mean, he hit 3-0, he hit above 300 last year, I think 302. So, I mean, he can square up the ball, just hoping that he can play most of the season and just have a good season. That's who I'm looking for out of this team. I think like I said, Trevor Story, always entertaining to watch him play. And Marquez and Gray, especially in the starting rotation, people to look for. Because those guys are your 1 and 2. So if you're going to win games, you need you need your pitchers, especially top of the rotation guys, to play good, play well, play effective. And they didn't do that last year. They both did 2018 when they made the playoffs. I believe it was 2018. They just need to be better. That's really about it. And like I said, for the Rockies, their order in the standings, I don't think they make the playoffs. There's a lot of better teams in the National League that are better than them. So I don't think they're going to make the wild card. They're like the maybe fourth best team in that division. Maybe third. You could argue San Diego and Colorado, who has the more talent, but I think San Diego probably does. I could see Colorado being the fourth in that in the NL West, maybe fifth, depending on how well the Giants do this year, which they're not looking good. But I think they'll be a solid fourth. But yeah, that's the end of the video. If you guys liked it, press the like button, subscribe down below. That'd be greatly appreciated. Share this video with all your friends and buddies. Let me know where you guys think Colorado's going to place at in the division. If I'm too harsh on them or whatever. Share this video with all your friends and buddies, and I will see you guys in the next video.